more information on how we travel through Europe with our two Labradors. This is a long one with a lot of information, so if you want to fast forward it all, press and hold up here. To get the dogs from the UK into mainland Europe, we needed to have an AHC for each of them. For this, we needed to have all of their vaccinations up to date. They needed to be microchipped, which they were anyway, and then we needed to go to a qualified vet to have the AHC drawn up. All vets charge different prices for this. It's quite a time consuming thing, so everyone charges a different price. It's always worth calling around and seeing who charges what. We went with a company that specifically only does AHCs, and this saved us quite a lot of money, especially as it's for two dogs. We got the ferry across to France. At the ferry port, you're given a chip scanner for the dog. You then scan their chips and then hand it back to them. You also hand over the AHC. It takes about 5 minutes to do. It's super quick and easy, and all being well, you go on your merry way. Once you're inside the Schengen zone, pets aren't checked at every single border crossing. Quite often you can cross a border into another country and there isn't a station or anything. So quite often nothing even happens at a border crossing. It is worth checking the countries you're planning on going to. Some of the Scandinavian countries do require extra things, so it's always worth double checking. If you want to leave the Schengen zone, that is where it gets more complicated and there are other things required. For us, on our trip that we have planned, we are intending on going into countries like Albania, Montenegro and Bosnia. For this, we needed to get a blood test done, specifically the rabies blood titer test. We found that this isn't a super common blood test to ask for. We called around quite a lot of vets to get quotes, as everyone priced it very differently. Some vets didn't even know what it was. In the end, we found that vets who have their own in-house labs tend to be the cheapest. With that blood test, advised we had to get it done 3 months before crossing the border. Lastly, and probably most interestingly, because of the length of our trip, we cannot do the entire trip with just a normal AHC. AHC is valid for 4 months and they need to be used in that time. We're going to be out of the country for more than 6 months. When we travel back from either Albania, Montenegro or Bosnia into the Schengen zone, we will need either a valid AHC or an EU pet passport. Therefore, we were advised that it would be better for us to get an EU pet passport for the dogs. We researched and contacted vets in Belgium who were more than happy to provide EU pet passports. It was one of the first things we did on our trip. As soon as we crossed into France, we drove up into Belgium to do that. So far, not had any big issues travelling with the dogs. It has been more straightforward than it at first seems. Once you get all your ducks in a row, it does feel easy. Ultimately, we don't want to be doing this trip without them. They're just part of the family. It is worth every penny. Other questions anyone has on the dogs and how we travel with them, let us know. We're more than happy to give more information.